they need capital in their banks and in many of their banks, but they haven't called us, and we would not be a good prospect.
Well, not a good prospect. That was Warren Buffett, of course, talking on Friday about whether he would give a hand to European banks in this crisis. He bought stakes, as you recall, in Goldman Sachs and GE in 2008, and most recently bought a stake in Bank of America, bought preferred shares in Bank of America. Joining me now from Stamford, Connecticut, is Alice Schroeder, a Bloomberg View columnist and also the author of The Snowball, Warren Buffett and the Business of Life, the definitive biography on Warren Buffett. Alice, always great to have you back on the program. I want to get your first reaction to why Buffett hasn't given a handout yet or put some capital into European banks. You're surprised that he hasn't stepped up to the plate there?
I think it's generally true that if Warren doesn't want to invest in something, there is no money to be made there. So it's pretty much a signal to the rest of us that the problems are bad and they're not getting fixed easily.
Okay, so it's strictly a return for him then in this issue. It's not so much about injecting confidence there.
I think it's all about money, yeah.
Okay. Talking about money, I had a chance with Warren to talk about the stock buyback program. And I know, Alice, you've written a column about what this stock buyback program at Berkshire Hathaway could mean. I want to run for you, just to refresh your memory, the soundbite from Warren Buffett, where he talked about what this buyback program could mean for future acquisitions.
It won't keep us from investing billions and billions and billions in plant and equipment, in new acquisitions. We just announced an acquisition yesterday, Princeton Insurance for $400 million. We're ready to buy lots of things, and we bought $4 billion net of common stocks in the third quarter, not counting B of A.
So do you believe that, Alice?
I do believe that. They've got $10 billion a year of cash flow to invest. They've got $45 billion of cash right now they've got to put to work. So they're going to invest tens of billions of dollars in businesses and investments, and they're still going to buy back stock. And it also means that Warren's not going to be able to do that forever, and he's going to need help.
Right. You say, in fact, the buyback program signals that that he perhaps wants to put a floor on Berkshire shares?
I think that it's very interesting to see because there have been past times, several of them, where they've had more money than they knew what to do with, and there have been difficulties putting it to work, and they have not done a buyback. Now he's saying that they have lots of opportunity to invest, and they are doing a buyback. The only logical explanation for what has really changed is that they're putting a floor under the stock. And this is something that's been widely remarked on. The book value is going to grow. And of course, as that book value grows, the 10% above book value premium is going to grow with it. Only if there's bad news would the stock really plummet, and now you've got a floor on it.
So, Alice, then, do you get the sense that with all these recent moves he's made, the buyback program, he's added on another person to manage the stock portfolio, he really is trying to prepare for a Berkshire for the day when he steps down, and that day may, in fact, be sooner rather than later?
I think investors should really welcome what they're seeing here, because for the longest time, there seemed to be this sort of denial about the fact that Warren was getting older. And he would say, I want to run this company from my grave. I want to hold a seance and I'll tell you what to do. So now you're starting to see these steps that almost look like some planning is taking place. And while I would never say that he's going to step down soon, there are signs that he's putting people in under him that are capable of running the company on the investing side. Now there's this buyback program. The board of directors is clearly starting to step up and get more involved. I think these are terrific signs for the shareholders.
So maybe this is a time to keep to your Berkshire shares, or maybe even buy into Berkshire now.
Well, there's a floor on the stock now, so the risk has been taken away of what happens if he's not there.
Alice, let me turn to, of course, Buffett's interjection, I guess you could call it, into politics. Now, there was news reports out about what happened on that fundraiser on Friday for President Obama. The turnout not as great, perhaps, as the Obama folks had hoped. What do you make of Buffett's allegiance with the president?
Well, you know, I think that Buffett is a longtime liberal. He is a registered Democrat, and he sympathizes with the views of the Democratic Party. He's putting his muscle, obviously, behind Obama because he agrees with the president on a lot of things, and especially social inequality, which is his big issue. He doesn't usually articulate it that way, but the wide gap between the rich and the poor, and the way that it's gotten wider, however measured, is the real reason for his underlying views on taxes. And of course, that's not necessarily popular with big money political donors. But there is a new silent majority of people in this country, if you look at polls, that do support this Buffett tax idea.
So would you say overall he's either hurt or helped the president?
It's interesting. He may have helped with voters. He may not have helped with fundraisers. So hard to say.
It is. Judging by the turnout, it seems as if he's at least hurt him on that side and getting those big Wall Street donors out. Alice, thank you so much. Always great to talk with you. Alice Schroeder, the author of Snowball and also a Bloomberg View columnist.